Hey everybody, thanks for joining me here on Redneck White Collar Outdoors. Appreciate it. Wanted to answer some questions that a few of y'all had, specifically related to duck dogs, goose dogs, gun dogs, field dogs, working dogs, whatever you want to call them. Just because I even had this question myself when I was training my dog. And that was, how do I get them to pick up geese? Ducks was fairly easy, and you almost kind of do geese the same way. But if you train your own dog, if you had your dog professionally trained, whatever the case may be, you may find, especially in the younger ages, that they are maybe more intimidated by geese than they are, say, a bumper or a duck, whatever the case may be. So I was gonna break down kind of what worked for me when I was training my dog, Oakley here. Hey, Oaks. Oakley's a 45-pound black lab, and she's on the smaller side. We thought she was gonna be a lot bigger. She just turned 2, and she really just started getting into geese full bore here. But she was on ducks at a young age. I trained her from the age of, oh gosh, I think we got her when early as we could. I think she was probably 9 weeks old. And I had her fetching, within the first month. And we started obedience really early on. And I grew up, watching hunting dogs get trained. My uncle had tons of black labs growing up. Grew up training his own dogs, and he had multiple buddies that had their own dogs, and gone through a lot of research on training dogs, trained my own dog. I've seen all the videos, Bill Hillman. I've got a buddy who actually does it for a living. He's fantastic. And this is just, I guess, a collaboration of what I picked up through the course of training my dog, and some of the tips and tricks that I thought were the most valuable. And first and foremost, honestly, when it comes to training a dog, if you're starting out, every dog's different. I think, same goes for raising kids. Every kid's different, right? So I don't think every single trick is going to be the one-stop shop fix for you specifically, but this is what worked for me, and here's some things that you could potentially try as you're getting your dog up to the goose stage and getting them into retrieving geese. And the first thing is, I found to be the most helpful is keeping it positive, right? You want your dog to have fun retrieving birds. When you take the fun out of it and it becomes more of a job or a chore or something they have to do, they're not going to go after the birds in the same way that you see other dogs doing it. They're not going to have that drive. They're not going to have that edge to get out in the field with you. So keep it fun when you're training them. And so the first thing that I like to do is, it's the same thing I did with ducks to get, my dog into ducks, is keeping it light and fun. And I'd grab the duck and, I would kind of play with it on the ground, and like I'm playing keep away from her, and keep it light and fun, and kind of get her amped up and excited for what we're about to do. And the same thing goes for geese. You almost have to reintroduce them back into that when you're doing geese. Is, hey, I know this bird's intimidating, but watch this. This can be fun, and you gotta get them excited. And then when I get them excited, go ahead and throw it. Don't worry about the sit and the stay and the don't break stuff right away, right? We want to build on what you're trying to do, and that is ultimately get the dog to bring back a goose. So start fun, throw it for them. Don't worry about stay, just send them, and let them go have fun grabbing that goose. Now, if your dog's not picking up geese at all, they're just intimidated, don't talk to them or call them off if they start grabbing the bird, and if they start even just tugging at it. If they're not picking it up, that's okay. That first sign of contact is great. So if they're grabbing that bird and they're playing with it, and they're gnawing on its wing, give them encouragement, say, hey, good girl, good boy, whatever it is, and let them know, yes, you're on the right track. And then once they pick it up, you're going to give them tons of praise, and on the way back, give them tons of praise. And you're just gonna amp your level of praise up until they get to basically what they should be doing, which is bringing it right back to you. And once you've done that a few times and your dog's realizing, hey, I can play fetch with this thing, this is fun, that's when you can start integrating back into, all right, these are the rules, you got to stay by my side. You can't break, stuff like that. And then over time, you should see that your dog's caught on, hey, we're picking up geese here. Now, that worked for Oakley, and I hope it works for you, but there's a couple other factors that may go into it, and some things that you may want to try if that doesn't work. But make sure you give that a good shot, and you give it some time and patience, right? If you try that one time and it doesn't work, don't give up there. Continue to have fun. Continue to try it. Make sure you've done it well. Make sure you're praising at the right time, and really amping that level of energy up. Because it could take them a sec. Could take them a sec to figure it out, to get over that fear, whatever it is. But once you've given that a good hard try and that's still not working, the next thing I would say to do is throw something out there that they'll go get. So throw a bumper out there. Okay, now alternate it with a goose. Doing that a few times, maybe they'll say, oh, okay, you're throwing that the way the bumper is. Maybe I'll grab the goose like that. Another thing to try is throwing the goose and then making them stay, and you can go get that goose for them. Believe it or not, there's nothing I don't think they hate more, especially if you've got a dog with a lot of drive on other stuff like a bumper or ducks or whatever it is. They hate it when you go pick up what they were supposed to go pick up. So if you throw a bumper out there and you go pick up that bumper because they did something wrong, or whatever the case may be, they're gonna realize, crap, when I don't do what I'm supposed to, he goes and does it for me, and I don't want him doing that. That takes the fun out of it. So throw that goose out there, pick it up, bring it back. Throw that goose out there, pick it up, bring it back. And then maybe throw it out there, and this time, send your dog, and maybe that'll give them the extra motivation that they need to pick it up. But don't lose discouragement with it. It's a process. Another great thing to try, and something that I did building up to it, if you've got a young pup, I would not introduce your young pup to geese right away. That's not to say some amazing dogs out there might just go for it. Heck, that could certainly happen, but just better safe than sorry. What I would do is start them out with ducks, start them out with bumpers, start them out with duck bumpers or those little fake duck decoy fetch toys. Throw it in the water, throw it on land, give them a lot of versatility. Make sure you incorporate some bangs in there or whatever, and then do the same thing with a goose. You can easily make, I guess, your own like heavy retrieval toy. Again, you want to have fun with that toy. You want them to have a blast with it. You don't want them to think it's a chore picking up something that heavy. But I have a goose retrieval decoy that my dog actually played with for the first year, and that thing weighed probably 15 pounds. It was huge. But she ended up loving that thing. Whenever I grab it, she would get amped. She knew we were about to go play fetch, and she didn't care how heavy it was. She was going to go get it. And so it's the same thing when you start getting the live birds going, and you start introducing them to that. So start small and build on it. Rome wasn't built in a day, and great dogs aren't built in a day, right? It takes time to get your dog to the level that you want it to be. And it's just not going to happen overnight. It does take some training, even though, labs, this is what they're meant to do. It still takes training. German Shepherds are, essentially meant to protect and guard, and, they can sniff things out. But, you get a German Shepherd puppy, it's not going to immediately do that. You got to work up to it and train. And these are just some tips and tricks to get your dog to where you want it, and some building blocks to go off of when you're getting them to that level. So I hope those tips and tricks help. Truly appreciate y'all watching. Please like, subscribe to my videos. If you want to hear anything more about dog training related stuff that helped, stuff that didn't, please comment down below, and I will be more than happy to make my own video dedicated to just that. This one specifically more just on the building blocks to get your dog up to picking up those geese, just because I know I have a lot of friends that have trouble with that. And Oakley, come here. When you got a dog that is smaller, on the smaller side of things, she's a lover. But when you got a dog this tiny, picking up geese can be intimidating for them. And don't let it discourage you. Oakley crushes the geese now, and all the other birds, and she's all about it. So don't let that discourage you. Just because they're small doesn't mean they can't do it. They're more than capable. Just takes the training, time, dedication to get them there. So I hope that helps. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want to see, and see you next time on Redneck White Collar Outdoors. Thanks, y'all.